All right. Hi, this is Michaela.
This is Noël Cox-Cornelia,
I'm Denise Mitten.
and we're here to talk to you a little bit about research ethics. And in particular, we had a couple of questions that came up as a result of a course that we're all on right now, Graduate Scholarship in Research Methodology. And the first question was about when conducting an interview, are you required to have an audio of the interview, a video of the interview, and perhaps transcription of that interview? So I'll talk first about the class project aspect of it. For a Moodle class only, not a mentored class, we have done a class project proposal form that will cover all of you in terms of these consent items and practicing using the methods along the way. So Michaela and I have done that, so you're covered on that. Do you want to talk about interviewing?
If you do interview somebody and it's not part of the class, then you'll have an IRB. And when you set up the interview, let people know if you plan to take notes by hand, which you can do. However, we'd probably recommend that you use an audio recorder or a video recorder. Either one of those is fine, as long as the person you're interviewing knows it's happening and has agreed to it in a consent form. Likely as not, you'll make a transcript to be able to read it and to be able to go back and look at it for the themes or whatever you're looking at it for in addition to that. But you're not required to make a transcript of it, and there's not a requirement that you have to video it or you have to audio it. You get to choose whichever you want to do.
And again, I want to reinforce what Denise said about highly recommending that it either is audio recorded or video recorded. And the reason for that is if you are taking notes as someone else is speaking, it tends to take your focus away from what's being said, and you will synthesize what they said through your lens. So having that audio recording or a video recording, you can be very clear about what they said, not what you think they said. The other piece of it that speaks against just taking notes is that as you look down and are scribbling down notes, it can break the flow of the interview so that you're continually reminding the person you're talking with that this is an interview and I'm writing it down, as opposed to just having a free-flowing conversation. So that's it for this.
All right. Something else that came up was someone asked a question about using copyrighted music in the Who Am I videos that everyone was working on this week. We are not interested in being the copyright police in this context. What will happen if the owner of that content makes a complaint is that video will be taken down off YouTube. So that's all that's going to happen in this context. Moving forward into your thesis work and into more serious academic work, you do want to be really mindful of copyright. And one thing that comes up a lot in educational settings is fair use. That is an exemption for educators. It's a very gray area, and fair use is largely determined by lawsuits. So you want to usually err on the safe side with fair use. You don't want to take the heart of someone's work. You want to make sure it is for educational purposes. If you have time, it's always a better idea to ask for permission to use someone else's work. And then the nature of the work is also considered. So if you're using someone's image or graph or music, that is more the heart of their work. So it's even been argued that a 3-second music clip was the heart of somebody's work. It's much more acceptable to quote nonfiction works like journal articles and books in your papers, so that's fine if you want to quote a couple of lines from someone's work as a form of criticism or to build upon that. But with music, it's a lot of a better idea to use Creative Commons music that's in public domain. YouTube has a music library of music that you can use. If you have GarageBand, on your computer. Maybe you could even, create your own little intro or outro or something like that. So that's a little bit about fair use.
So that's great. That's it for this week. We hope that you ask more questions and really think about things that maybe were not addressed during the upcoming roundtables. And we'll be talking to you again.